Thank you for having me first, and good morning to you. And yes, I believe that in the last occasion that I was here, I told you that I thought it was inevitable, and it was. And I was personally expecting it any moment, and Trump gave the signals. He always said, within the next 2 weeks, we might do something if there are no negotiations. And as you well know, just yesterday, Iran made it perfectly known that they were not interested in negotiations with the US, that they were not going to discuss the missile program, and they were not going to give up the nuclear program. And that was the green light for Trump. If there is no talks, if there is no willingness to arrange to find an agreement otherwise, then be it on you. We know that 2 days ago the B-2s were flown into the area. We know that the Nimitz just arrived, and there are two carrier groups. The Nimitz is very important because it carries planes that can essentially kill electronics and blind the opponent, so that the B-2s essentially came in and out without anybody in Iran noticing until the explosions. Well, the proxies have been targeting U.S. interests in the region forever. It wouldn't be the first time that they bomb our consulate in Erbil or our base in Iraq or our base in Jordan on our soldiers in Syria. They've been doing that more or less regularly for the past few years, and we should expect that they will try again. I dare say they will not succeed any more than they have in the past. And there is an enormous amount of firepower assembled between the destroyers, the missilistic destroyers in the Eastern Mediterranean, the two carrier groups in the Indian and Ocean and the Arabic Gulf. Uh, I don't know if people realizes the size of this task force and their capabilities. But if the regime in Iran insists in its stance, they will find out, I'm afraid. It is an operation. There is not going to be an invasion in the classical sense. We're not going to send a few battalions there to fight street by street. That is not going to be done. Uh, but I dare say that every military and nuclear installation within Iraq, within Iran, is a target, and they will be struck. If they attempt to fire missiles at our fleet, those missile launchers will be destroyed. The buildings where they are will be destroyed. And in a matter of days, a couple of weeks at the most, uh, the Islamic Republic will have absolutely no capacity to hit at anybody. Well, the, it's very difficult to foresee because rationality and the Islamic Republic are not two concepts that go together. They're very irrational, and they may respond with a desperate attempt to avoid or delay the inevitable, and that will be in their detriment. If I were, knowing what I know, if I were a Revolutionary Guard soldier or an army soldier in Iran, I'd be running for the hills. Well, no, the strike comes after Iran refused to continue negotiations. If they are in no mood to negotiate, then there is no negotiation to be had. Iran can stop this at any moment by essentially communicating to the US that they are perfectly willing to, you know, renounce to their nuclear weapons program and the missiles and not be a threat to anybody anymore. If they do that, this ends tomorrow. I don't think they will. Though. I don't think it's in their uh, capacity to think to go that way. I think that they will go to the bitter end, as is customary. Iran has been attacking the U.S. since 1979, since the taking of the diplomatic personnel in Tehran hostage, the massacre of 241 Marines in Beirut, the bombing of the embassy in Beirut, killing the ambassador and 14 diplomats, the participation of Iran in the bombing of the Khobar barracks, uh, attacks around the world at American targets for 46 years. Iran has been a bellicose bully in the Middle East that has never stopped threatening Israel with extinction and attacking U.S. interests. It's over. The only thing they can do now is renounce their bellicosity and we'll go back home. That is the position of the president. And the president did say, within the next 2 weeks, you have a window of opportunity to sit at the table and end this, and was rebuffed. I think it's in the interest of everybody concerned that Iran stops trying to develop nuclear weapons to erase Israel from the map, which is their stated objective. Uh, it is in everybody's interest. Otherwise, uh, the Islamic regime is going to find itself without an army, without the Basij, without the Revolutionary Guard, confronting the people of Iran who do not want war, who are not at war with either Israel or the US, and who will replace them. No, there is no taste in the US, no intention, no willingness to go into a full war. We have no beef with the Iranian people, but we definitely have no longer patience for a regime that has demonstrated its brutality towards the world and its own people, and its willingness to destroy mindlessly whatever they can. I mean, the war that they have been waging on the world, eh, what they have done to Lebanon with Hezbollah, what they have done to Yemen with the Houthis, because it's not just the US and Israel here that had been on the receiving end of Iran's ambitions. Many Muslim countries and Arab countries have suffered tremendously uh, through the expansionism of the Islamic Republic. And I told you last time, but I tell you now, the end game here is peace. The end game here is Lebanon without Hezbollah, Yemen without the Houthis, Gaza without Hamas, and the peoples of the Middle East enjoying peace at last. No, the reason we didn't get to the end of the 2 weeks is that Iran refused to negotiate, rejected the offer of negotiation, clearly stated that they are in no position to accept any terms and that they desire not a peace process with the United States, that they will not talk to the United States and that they will not cede an inch. So essentially, Iran just killed that peace offering and threw it back at Trump's face. Uh, President Trump has made it perfectly clear that Iran can join peace negotiations at any time of their choosing. It is up to them. It has also been made very clear that Iran cannot and will not have a nuclear weapon, and that the US will do whatever it can to prevent it. And if that means several sorties like today's, until the destruction of Fordo and Natanz and Isfahan. And by the way, another 12 uh, uh, sites, including six that they have never declared. Uh, until that happens, the US will continue with its operations, and it's going to be like today. Nobody's going to see them coming, nobody's going to see them leaving, but the results will be on the ground. No. First of all, the proxies have been degraded to a pale shadow of what they once were. Second, they didn't need any action by the US or Israel for that matter in order to maintain their attacks against both. I just gave you a litany of attacks against the United States. They have caused more deaths than any recent war. Over 1,200 U.S. soldiers and approximately six dead and approximately 6,000 wounded uh, in the past 47 years. And there is a limit to our patience. We are not going to continue to see our soldiers being killed all over the world, our civilians being killed or kidnapped all over the world. Eventually, there's got to be a reaction. Now, will the proxies do something? Well, let me see them try, because without supplies from Iran, they are dead in the water. In the past 7 days, they have lost 50% of their missiles, 50% of the missile launchers. They have lost the entire top of their army, Revolutionary Guard, and Basij. They have lost all of their nuclear development team. Israel has absolute control of the air over Iran, and it's a good thing that we don't have a beef with the Iranian people, because right now Iran is open and defenseless, and Ayatollah Khamenei is hidden in a bunker trying to find a successor, and may not be there much longer. The Revolutionary Guard, the Quds Force, the Basij, and every other vestige of this barbaric regime in Iran, they will pay the full price if they keep going at it. And the Iranian people is not going to judge them lightly. Do nothing. They never did nothing. Iran has been the aggressor since 1979. It's not like they are sitting there sipping tea and suddenly attacked by someone, God knows why. No, that is not the case. What President Trump will probably tell the American people is what led him to finally uh, cut off conversations and attack the bases, and what's coming up. And what's coming up is, if Iran is not amenable to a peace process that involves the elimination of the nuclear program and limits to its ballistic missiles, those will be destroyed for them. No, that is an absolute truth. Israel is fighting for its very existence. Something that people, many people don't seem to understand is that on October 7th, Iran crossed a line that changed the paradigm of the Middle East. Israel is no longer fighting for containment, it's fighting for its own survival. They know that unless they are victorious, and victorious means eliminating the threat completely, their very existence is at play. They're not going to stop, and they're not going to allow anybody, even the US, to tell them that they have to sit down and continue to enjoy 30,000 rockets a year thrown from Lebanon or Gaza without a peep, and allow their people to be murdered, raped, and burned. Neither Israel nor the U.S. want others to fight their wars. Israel has its own interests and its own objectives, and it is the destruction of the nuclear program and the capabilities of Iran to strike at Israel. The U.S. is welcome to assist, but the U.S. is fighting its war. Israel is fighting their war. They just happen to coincide in the need to curtail the bellicosity of the Iranian regime. Trump gave them 60 days to sit down and figure out a way out of this conundrum. Israel attacked on day 61. And somehow the regime in Iran thought that they could, uh, play it long, and eventually Trump was going to send them a pallet with cash, and they would continue business as usual. I don't think they have realized that things have changed. And they changed on October 7th. They went too far. Well, number one, there are more than three sites. There's over a dozen sites in addition to these three. Number two, there are still missile launchers that are firing as we speak missiles against hospitals and schools and residences in Israel. There are thousands of missiles yet to be fired, and there are drones that are being launched at Israel as we speak. Ironically, the hospital they destroyed is a hospital in a Bedouin Muslim community. So that, and the building they hit in Haifa was a mosque. Well, I'm expecting to hear President Trump's speech tonight, as much as you are, because that may clarify some points. But all things being equal, we should expect both Israel and the U.S. to stay on target until the obliteration of the nuclear program and the missilistic capability of the Republic of Iran, of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the elimination of the ability of Iran to keep supplying the same to Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. The guy that was just killed yesterday in the Revolutionary Guard was the guy who organized the financing and logistics of the attack on Israel on October 7th. These things are connected. These things are connected. And the government of Israel has a duty to its citizens, Jews, Muslims, Christians, secular, to not allow October 7th to happen again, and God forbid, in a larger scale. And the U.S. is tired of getting our boys in body bags from around the world without ever replying because we might offend somebody. This is it. They went too far. Well, thank you so much, and please forgive the appearance. Um, as you know, I'm traveling. Thank you.